I have waited all year for this event, and finally, it is here. If you don't know what ArtFight is, I did abysmal at describing this, so let me try it again. If you don't know what ArtFight is, some people might describe it as an art trading event, but I prefer to call it an art gifting event. In this event, there are two teams of different themes depending on the year. Last year was Team Bloom versus Team Wither, and this year is Team Vampire versus Team Werewolf. Each member of each team upload anywhere between 1 to 100 characters to their own profile for the fight. Then they go out and draw characters owned by the opposing team. Each drawing is called an attack, which can cause members of the opposing team to draw one of your characters, making a revenge attack. Any attacks you receive are called your defenses. If you draw a character owned by a member of your own team, that'd be a friendly fire. If you're still confused, I suggest either going to the ArtFight site yourself or going and checking out this awesome video done by Luce. Both links will be in the description. First order of business, before we get into all the rest of the stuff for this video, I am taking this off. It is hot where I am, and I am not going to wear this the entire video. Now that we've gotten all of that stuff out of the way, now to talk about the first week of ArtFight. It seems like I keep forgetting stuff in this video, so let me correct myself. First up is my own character. I bought this character from one of my online buddies, Skeptical Dreamer. Go ahead and check her out. Absolutely, she's so awesome and I love her designs. But I decided to start off with this drawing of Camilla. After having gone through ArtFight last year, I kind of wanted to have some expectations going into this year. One of those things was that I wanted all of my character profiles to look a lot nicer. That's just my own little personal preference going into the month, and I did successfully work on that, as well as I actually was able to have a true roster of the different OCs that I really wanted to bring into this year. I wanted to use my attacks for ArtFight as an excuse in a sort of way to practice and try out new different rendering tactics or line art stuff. My favorite thing that I was working on coming in with Camilla here is messing around with line weight, and I'm still really proud of it as I'm looking at the video here. It makes the whole drawing just feel way more dynamic, things stand out way more, and I'm super happy with that. I didn't want to put the pressure on me to make more art than I did last year, although it already seems like I am going to end up accomplishing that so far anyway, since at the current time of recording, I have already made half the amount in 1 week than I did in the whole month of last year. And I'm also proud to say that I'm a lot more proud of it. The first attack of this season begins with a character named Molly that is from one of my online buddies named SmolCandyLemons. I'm going to try and keep all of the photo references that I use in each drawing over somewhere in the video. When I saw Molly's character design, I thought, absolutely adorable, I have to draw her. Especially in her cafe uniform. Ooh, I almost did draw one of my own characters alongside Molly, but I kind of hesitated since this would be the first drawing of the entire month. As I said before, I wanted to try and bring in my knowledge and my learning of line weight into this drawing, and I still think I did pretty well. Yeah, I think I could have improved in some parts, but I think for the most part, it looks pretty good. There is another photo reference that I did use, but I technically did not really take the photo. I use my own body and my hands as my own way of using visual reference for drawings. After all, it is the easiest resource. rendering, I decided that I would try out this new tactic that I learned where you put a saturated band of color between the light and the shadow sides of an object, only to realize that I don't have a good enough feeling for anatomy in order to properly know how to shade those 3D shapes. At least specifically on the arms. I think I did relatively well with the clothes though. As for the background, I really enjoyed doing the background. I thought it was so adorable, having sprinkles and stars, making it all pink. Absolutely wonderful. And I have a feeling that we're probably going to see a lot of pink in the future. So this is the second attack. I'm going to go over it a little bit quickly because I lost the time lapse for it. Over on the right is Clementine, a character that is owned by another one of my online friends, Vaitti. I absolutely love a lot of their designs. They're amazing. Down there at the bottom is my own Sona, Xenos. What I'm really proud about with this drawing was I used no reference for the alleyway, and maybe you could tell because I don't have a door over on that little balcony. But we're not going to talk about it. Again, I'm going to keep the photo reference over here, except for the fact that when I get to the actual character themselves, I don't have the character reference on me anymore, but I did have some sort of horse reference, and it's kind of difficult to try and sort through a bunch of the horse pictures that I've been looking at. I had a really good time designing the scenery, having all the grass and the trees. I don't really get to do foliage that much, and I haven't really practiced it too much, and I felt that this was a good time to be able to try it out and do all the textures and even make a tree. I am pretty proud of the tree though. Okay, so this is Cloudy Skies, that is owned by Sockpuppetman, a very interesting name. I got really pulled in to draw Cloudy Skies because of the story that came along with him. I enjoyed reading a little bit about his backstory of him being a Pegasus that has chosen to not fly anymore, and has a daughter, and has lost a loved one. I mean, it's very touching. Even if it's not a whole novel, it still touches my heart, okay, homie? My only complaint that I have with this drawing is the fact that it just doesn't feel like it sits in the drawing as much. It doesn't feel like it sits in the scenery, and I feel like that was my own fault because I have not exactly been able to pick up on how to really execute that. But if anyone has any advice, feel free to leave some kind and patient comments below. Anyway, with that is the third attack for this season. This is Bobo&Baba. They are both owned by SkeletonHearts, and I got really interested because they still make Yo Mama jokes in 2023, and I found that very interesting along with the Amogus. I almost wanted to include an Amogus joke, but I ended up sticking to just a classic Yo Mama joke. Is it a good joke? Probably not, but I tried. But with that is the next drawing for ArtFight. Woo! Okay, halfway there. This is Lyra Astasis, by BrookeDoesArt. I am so sorry for mispronouncing Lyra's name. Whenever I make a portrait, I always have to use a photo reference so that I know the distance and the spacing between the eyes and the nose and the lips, and then normally I will draw from the tracing sketch that I made over top of that drawing, just to get the placement down for a lot of things. As for this portrait, I decided that I wasn't going to totally paint everything. I figured I would try this hair rendering tutorial that I saw from this other individual. I already have my way of rendering hair, but I want to try something new, and I kind of like it, but I think I'm going to stick to my method. As for the face, my biggest struggle when it comes to faces, and I'm getting better when it comes to the eyes, and a little bit with the nose, but I can never make the lips really feel like they fit within the face. They always feel like they've just been edited on or just kind of smacked on top instead of actually sitting within the face. If anyone has any tips or advice, feel free to leave some kind and helpful comments down below. Teeth are my number one enemy when it comes to faces. I don't know why I keep trying to make open mouth smiles, but well, as long as I keep doing it, I'm still gonna have to keep dealing with it. But I did think I did pretty well on the teeth here. One thing I know I did well on was the sunglasses. I really like the texturing and how everything works. I've been trying to use a lot more texture and halftone brushes in my work. This is Roseo Gardener from Ghosttarii. I did not use a reference for this pose, mostly because of the fact that I made this drawing at maybe around 3 a.m. I wanted to just put in a messy sketch so that I can have a drawing in for the day. I was mostly focused on a lot of my quizzes, but I did have fun putting in the colors and messing around with the hair and the flower and the hair, as well as the patterns in the background. I do really like the pose, and I think this drawing is super cute. This next attack is on Mushroomtail, owned by PokeFan1241. I have kind of been obsessed a little bit in the fandom of Warrior Cats, but I haven't been able to actually drag myself to really read any of the books. So if you are a reader or a fan of Warrior Cats, please let me know which books are more suggested for me to read. I really enjoyed being able to do the tree and try out this other kind of line art where you would have little gaps and little dots between the line art to make it softer, cuter, and I enjoy it. It allows more room for the person viewing the art to put pieces together in their mind. And it also adds a little bit of texture where you wouldn't always think to have texture. I feel like I might have ruined it a little bit by putting so much detail into a lot of the other art, especially as you can see me messing up on the tree bark and deciding I would just cover it all in lichen, hide my mistakes. One thing I'm obsessed with this piece is the mushrooms. I mean, look at those mushrooms. They look delectable. They look like perfection. I adore them. Can you tell I like mushrooms? I actually really enjoy a lot of the textures that I used here. I enjoyed drawing the cat. However, after I finished the drawing, I ended up taking it to my sibling, who is also an artist, who pointed out to me that it did not feel fluffy. It just felt too smooth to be a cat, especially one that's supposed to look very fluffy. And that's when I decided I would go back over everything and recolor and redo the texturing and go over the line art so that I could have that fluff. My issue is that I am not that great at being able to render fluffy things. I've done it before, but I'm still learning and trying to get the gist of how you really have the illusion of detail with the fluff, rather than going and doing every single fur piece and hair or whatever. I feel like I could have done a little better when it came to Mushroomtail themselves in the drawing, but I still really like the drawing in general, and that's that attack. Last but not least is probably my favorite art piece that came out from this week. This is a character from my online bestie, FoxyNalie. I absolutely love their designs. Go check them out. They are super cool. This is Winnona, and over here on the bottom right is my own character, Camilla, who I drew much earlier. I had trouble trying to plot out the poses and the placement of the arms and the head and how everything should be composed in the drawing, and I probably spent maybe about an hour putting everything together before I finally came up with something that I felt I was comfortable enough with. Moving to the line art. When I first started lining Winnona, I actually forgot to have a lot of line variation, but don't worry, I'll go back and fix it later. As for the expression and the pose, I really enjoyed drawing out the hair and everything when it came to the line art. It was a lot of fun, since a lot of this felt a lot more dynamic than what I usually work with, and, well, who doesn't love drawing a couple characters just rocking out together? What I have to say is I'm most proud of in this drawing is the skirt. And the sweater, honestly. Both of them look absolutely amazing. The skirt is the best skirt slash dress slash whatever skirt-like clothing piece. It is the best I have ever drawn of a skirt, and I'm so proud of it. And of course, I can't forget my girl Camilla. I had some trouble with the face structure. I needed to know where the eyes would be placed and made some creepy eyes, but don't worry, quickly fixed. I did have some trouble when it came to the horns, but I ended up being able to place it correctly. And everything else just kind of fit perfectly around her. As for the glasses, I decided instead of going with her standard glasses that she always wears, they're rocking out. I'm gonna give her some rock out glasses or whatnot, since I felt that it didn't really fit onto Winnona as much. The new tactic when it came to this drawing was I decided to shade each individual piece or each individual color in a sort of way on its own, and then move and color the next piece and then shade it on its own. And I really like how it came out. Everything still feels like it comes together perfectly, and I just love using a lot of gradients nowadays. It just offers so much more into making everything pop. I really appreciate the skirt, and I had fun trying to copy the design that FoxyNalie had come up with for the skirt. And that makes the first week of ArtFight. This video took a lot more work and time than I thought, mostly because of needing to re-record things I wasn't happy with, but thank you so much for getting through this video. I honestly hope my next ArtFight video will be better and done smoother. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If these ArtFight videos get enough attention, I might consider doing more art content on this channel, and if that's something you'd look forward to, why not subscribe? Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a happy ArtFight. If you are part of ArtFight, here's my page and my little card thingy. You can always feel free to attack me there, or even draw my other characters if you're on Toy House. I really did have a hard time with this video, but here, you can actually see my new PNG tuber right here, and I drew all together overnight. I also made the ArtFight explanation last minute, and I'm pretty proud of it. So if you do like the video, your admiration or attention in general just really makes me super appreciative. Thank you. Happy ArtFight!